Right, so we have a airbag light on. Not at this moment, because we shut the car off and restart it. So quick way to diagnose airbag light is start the car, and if the airbag light is off, we're gonna start moving the seats. If it's wiring under the seats, we're gonna move the steering wheel to see if it's clock spring related. So here we go. Now turn to the left. Ah, here we go. The light just went on. So now we know that we have a clock spring problem. So now I'll turn this scan tool on. This is made by OTC. How much was this one?
180.
So 180 bucks. All right, we'll do auto ID. Might take a while with aftermarket scan tools. Press enter again. Another communication. Oh my goodness. Here we go. So we gotta go down. I don't care about monitors, I just want to see the codes. Here, read codes. B1, B02, driver airbag, squip, circuit open. So that will be the actual airbag, the inflator. But like I showed you before, the light was off. It only came on when we start turning the wheel. So there's gonna be the circuitry inside the clock spring. So this is the micropod. You need your computer. You can use your cell phone, tablet. It communicates through Bluetooth. No, I'm sorry. This one communicates through Wi-Fi. Alright, so now we're in the YTech. So we got 2 DTCs. We got 1 recall. Completed. So these are the recalls. Complete. Incomplete. This one is incomplete. So that's a final drive control module. Okay. So you go to all DTC, ORC, that's the airbag module, and it's the same code, B1, B02. So that cheap scan tool reads the correct information, so that's good. Driver airbag, squip 1, circuit open. Good, so we just confirmed that the scan tool is good. And before we touch anything related to airbag, we gotta disconnect the battery and wait 2 minutes for the capacitors to discharge from all the modules. And always disconnect the negative cable, not the positive. Always go with the negative. Alright, this should just pop out like so. Alright, so now we have the access for these 3 bolts. Should be 7mm or Phillips. Yep, little Phillips screw. Bottom piece. So we can lower this down. Take the upper piece. Now the tricky part is to take the airbag out. That's being held by little spring clips from the back. So we gotta turn the steering wheel like that. Now, silly me, I forgot my mirror. Mirror helps to see the spring, but never mind. We got cell phones with the camera, so here you can see that spring, the spring clip that we need to lift up with the screwdriver. See, yeah, now you can see it real good. Alright, get my little screwdriver. Now I gotta get under the spring and lift up. Now I haven't done too many of these, so it probably is gonna take me a little while. There we go. You see, now it's up. Now I gotta pull on the airbag and pull a little bit, and one is done. We got two more to go. So one is out. So now I gotta turn the steering wheel the other way to get to the second clip. There it is. So I'm gonna use my phone again. It's so much better when you can actually see something than, because like I said, I haven't done these for a while, so yep. Okay, so we got two out. So now the last one, the one that's right on the bottom of the steering wheel. So I don't want to put it back in there. There we go, and that's it. So I got the battery disconnected. It's been more than 5 minutes, so now it should be safe to take the airbag wires off. And one tip: try not to put the airbag. This is where the airbag comes out. So if you have to put it somewhere, don't put it this way, otherwise it can shoot up in the air quite far. Always put it this way, so that the airbag, if it explodes, it just kind of dissipates here. So it's much safer to put it down like this. So now, before we take the steering wheel out, we want to make sure the steering wheel is exactly straight with the wheels. So I gotta pull the steering wheel back. I want to make sure it's perfectly straight. If you have the wheels up in the air, you want to somehow lock the steering wheel so it doesn't turn. I've seen it many times when somebody is changing the rack and pinion or the helve shaft or whatever, and they don't put it exactly the same way, and then it just makes your life very difficult. And because a steering angle sensor that's built in this Clockspring, it's very sensitive. That's why they have this alignment pin. When you get a new one, it always comes with this alignment pin, and you don't take it off until everything is in place and the steering wheel is in place. Then you can pull it out. So we only have one connector here for your horn and the buttons and the cruise control. It's all built in here. Now we can take the 13mm bolt that holds the steering wheel to the shaft. So So one more time, making sure it's perfectly straight, wheels are straight. Alright, now we can lose the bolt. You can take the bolt out with the air gun, that's fine. But if you're gonna put it back in, never use the air gun. Because these bolts can be over tight, making it extremely difficult to remove the steering wheel if you need to in the future again. And if you don't torque it properly, if you put a little less torque, then you don't want the steering wheel to come loose on the highway. So I'm not gonna take it out completely, I'm gonna leave it in just a little bit. I'm gonna center the steering wheel one more time, make sure it's perfectly straight. Good. And now I'm gonna take the steering wheel off. So the way I do it is I support the steering wheel with my knees, kind of lift it up with the knees, and I pull in here. There we go, both ways. And the steering wheel just got loose. Like so. Now we can take the bolt out completely. Also, this bolt should be always replaced. Whenever you take it out, always get a new bolt. Do not use the bolt. You can see they make even a little notch here, so that they try to make it foolproof. Now we have to take these switches off the clock spring. So for that we need a Torx 20, yeah, T20. That's the Torx. Okay, I'm gonna take the other side out as well. Good. Now we can take the third bolt that's on the bottom. That's the last bolt. We got couple wires here. Two, third one here on the other side. There you go. One for the multifunction switch. Good. Now we just transfer the switches to the new clock spring. So you can do it. Either take it out as I did, or you can leave the clock spring in there, but then it's hard to see these Phillips screws that holds the switches. One is here, that's the right side. So we're gonna take this Phillips screw. It's one. Now that just slides out. Be careful on those wires. And we'll do the left switch. Again, slide out. So this is garbage. We get the new one. It's a little greasy. Alright, so we'll put the switches back on the new clock spring. Now this multifunction switch actually has a steering column module built in there. So don't confuse it with the clock spring. In this vehicle, the clock spring is just the clock spring, and the steering column module is in your left multifunction switch. Some people, they might make a mistake and think that the steering column module is in the clock spring. They replace it and they still have problems with the module. So newer cars, they have it in the clock spring. So it might be getting a little confusing, but that's why we have a service information, either from Chrysler or even Oldada or Mitchell or whatever you guys using. It is a must these days. So because a lot of components require specific torque specifications, and if you do less or more, you might damage things and it might give you problems. You gotta invest money in a good torque wrench. This guy goes this way. Alright. And slide in. Beautiful. Now we gotta tuck the wires in there. Just like so. Good. So I got one screw in, there's another screw here, and we can go back inside the car, finish our clock spring replacement. Okay, so now carefully I'm gonna put it back in. Put all the wires, all 3 wires down. 2 white, 1 black. And the multifunction switch. Good. Get all my Torx bolts. So we're just gonna start all 3 bolts. We don't wanna tight one bolt only. We gotta make sure it's all centered and and then we can torque the bolts. So first I'm gonna start all 3, leave them loose. these Torx bolts should be torqued down to 3 Newton meters. So that's very little. So you don't want to use your ratchet or anything. If you have like a bike torque wrench, that would be ideal. Otherwise, just like a screwdriver type of Torx is the best. Yeah, with this, you would with a ratchet, you would probably over torque it, and then you can have problems with connections and whatnot. All right, I think we're good. So now I can put the steering wheel back in, or actually first I'm gonna put the covers. It's gonna be a little easier without the steering wheel. Now line everything up, take your time. These little covers can be pretty pricey. And it should just snap easily into place. All right, now that's done. Now we can put the 3 bolts. Now if you're not sure, if you have the shaft lined up together with the steering wheel, you got a notch. Basically, see these teeth? One all the way on top is missing, so you got groove there, and you got a little dot here. And if you look over here, you can see the steering wheel has a splines, and again the one teeth is missing, so that spline's gotta be lined up with the top one, obviously. So again, they try to make it foolproof. Alright, so carefully run it through. I'm gonna line up the groove. There, perfect. I can lock it up. So now we're gonna put the new bolt on the steering wheel. So you got foot-pounds, so 45 foot-pounds. Right now I'm at 40, 43, 44, 45. Now we're ready. Yeah, and that's it. All right, now we can take the alignment pin out, just like that. And now we can put the plug in there, like so. And now we're ready for the airbag. So you gotta make sure the battery is still off. And plug the wires, yellow to yellow, black to black. Make sure you put the airbag in straight so that these hooks can lock into place. Make sure there are no wires getting stuck between anything. And we're done. we can plug the battery back in. Now before we started, we're gonna check the codes one more time and we're gonna clear all the codes. Alright, so vehicle diagnostics again. Now I previously was in Commander. Let's do that. Please turn the key off for 10 seconds and turn the key on. I don't know why it wants it, but whatever. Press enter to continue. And I don't know why it's going for engine and transmission, but whatever. So this scan tool reads reads PCM, TCM, ABS, and supplemental restraint system, so your airbags. So it's not bad. Usually these small scan tools or code readers, they just go for the PCM and TCM codes. Alright, so we gotta scroll down to see the codes. Alright, so we got a stored code. It's not active, so now we gotta clear it. Alright, I never used this one, so here we go. Erase codes. Enter. Are you sure you want to erase codes? Of course. Yes. I got the key on. ABS. What's this? Engine, transmission, OBD2, select module. That's probably that rest, like a restraint. Control, enter. And again, communicating. Command send. Press enter to continue. No more codes. So I'm gonna go back. Alright, so now we're gonna do test. I'm gonna start the car. Wait for the airbag light to shut off. And we're gonna turn the steering again. All the way to left, all the way to right. And as you can see, the light is not coming on, so it's fixed. Yeah, for work like this, you want to use Mopar parts. Always use the OEM parts. When it comes down to suspension parts, that's where you can use your aftermarket, but every time there's some electronics involved, you want to go for original equipment manufacturer parts. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to read the codes one more time. All of the above. We just need the restraint. That's the airbag. No codes found. So I think we're done here. Now we're gonna take this apart and we're gonna see why we gotta be so careful to have it aligned properly. So like, let's say you just taking it off for whatever reason and there's nothing wrong with it and you want to reuse it, then as soon as you pull this out, you gotta make sure you gotta get a zip tie and zip tie it together so it stays this way. If you're gonna turn it this way, then you forget and you don't know, then it's garbage. It's you know, because the wires are looped inside, and they gotta be exactly same way to one side and the other side. If you do a couple times this way and then this way, the wires are gonna break. And so let's take this apart and see. Now look at all these wires there. Look at that. So now you can see that this is like very fine. So there's plenty of things that can happen to it over time. Where this cable attaches to these pins, that might be a pretty fragile place. And same thing when you go from here to inside there. So there's plus it kind of catches dirt, as you can see. There's some, I don't know what that is, some hair. Yeah, yuck, it's nasty. So that's what it looks like inside. Now if you want to attempt to put it back in, good luck. This is garbage.